move it a third time, I think you've been very unneighborly to this person. And I do believe that a variance of this size is significant, and I think that we as a board, I'm speaking for myself, I shouldn't speak as a board, but I think that if you've moved it twice, you can move it a third time to do the right thing.
There's literally, I'm being honest, there's literally no more room for me to move it.
Not a
And-
foot or two, or
No.
three? And why not?
You could see more in the color picture, there's, that rock is on the side, there's no more movement sideways.
This way.
Yeah, it looks like there's room.
You see this site plan here?
Yes.
Joe? You see this room here? Why can't you shove it up here to the
Forward, it
northeast?
could come a little forward, but it can't go left at all.
You know, just forward.
Forward.
Yeah, if you came
Forward.
forward, you'd still
You come
be
forward,
moving
you come
from
away.
her property line with your roof that's overhanging.
Yeah, it could come a little forward. There's just no room on the left.
It would probably be more of, less of a variance here, too.
Yeah.
You could move it forward.
So would I have to reapply all over again,
No,
or how would it
we
work
can
going
adjust it
forward?
now. We can make an adjustment on your
We
application.
make the
Are you
adjustment.
submitting these for the record? Yeah, so we can amend the application right now and just make this go away.
Okay.
John, do you have the original folder? Can I ask you to?
Yeah,
No, we gotta get the original.
The original folder, all right.
Thanks, Rose. All right, so we're gonna move this thing another foot from the side. So you're gonna provide 2 feet, and you'll need an 8-foot variance.
Okay.
So 2 feet?
You got the side and the rear. So the rear
The rear's a 2-foot, John.
The rear is 2 foot,
The side is a 1.
the side is the one. And you're
That's what I'm
saying you
talking about.
cannot move it this way to the southeast at all?
Yeah, so that side is the boulder I told you about, and any room behind it, because I ideally wanted to turn it, perfectly in the corner. That's all sloped and rocky, that I couldn't dig it out.
What's that fire hydrant?
Oh, that's just for show
Decorative?
for the dog.
Yep.
That's decorative, right?
Yeah, it's not hooked up.
And
So
there's,
that
and
could
the
move.
street sign is also decorative, right?
Yeah.
So can it move where the fire
The
hydrant is
the
and where
rock,
the sign
is-
is?
part of the rock is right behind that.
Yeah, but there's room. There's at least a foot from what
I could come forward, but I have some pictures, there's cell phone pictures of the side.
Forward 5 feet.
We could just deny it.
Yeah, so you
We
wanna
could
meet
just deny
us,
the whole application.
No, I could pull it forward, but I just want you to see.
You could probably shimmy it over a little bit there, you know? Let me see.
You have this rock, and then right behind it is.
There's another rock, so what we can do is, if you look at this, and I see these are just laid in the ground. So you take that out, you're gonna move it this way, take this height, so you're clear of that one behind you. You can move over another foot or so, and you would be looking at a variance of like 7 feet, and maybe like 7 feet on both sides, if you move it up this way, and you move it over this way. Couple of feet up. What is this post right here?
Move the whole platform that it's sitting on.
Wolfen.
Straightforward.
Wolfen
from where it
Way.
is right now, and you're gonna achieve what you need to.
Yeah,
comply.
you can do that. You can make that happen. You have at least, you got 3 feet to play with there. See all that? You can move that stuff.
This is loose, but like this part right here.
That's a big one, I see that. Understand. So clear it, and then go that way.
Go in front of it.
Yes,
All
exactly.
right, so I'm gonna change this to 3 feet from the side is gonna be provided. You'll need a variance of 7 feet. Board members?
It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, and then the rear, you're providing 2 feet currently, and you're looking for a variance of 8 feet. We'll do the same thing. Pull this forward, so that's 3 feet and 7 feet of a variance. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. Please initial this. You're compliant with that. Just initial it next to both lines. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for meeting us halfway here. All right, and I ask for no further input. I'll look for a motion to close
Motion
this
to close.
application.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, application number 5. Sarunja Bangaras Tip, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm gonna murder that one. For a variance of section 15615, seeking permission to install a shed. Property is located at 14 County Line Drive, Mayapack, and it's tax map 86.55-1-1. Ma'am,
Hi,
state your name and address for the record.
Saranya Bangsarantip, 14 County Line Drive, Mayapack.
Raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, you're gonna have to try to speak up. I'm sorry, there's some noise going on.
So this application is to put a shed up, but it's actually a shed that was there before the sale. That I just want to put it back at the same spot. During the sale, which happened in March, it was discovered that the shed has no permit. So to expedite the sale, they agreed to take it down, and it will be my responsibility to get the permit to put it back up after the sale had happened, which is why I'm here. The spot where it was unfortunately does not meet the 10-foot recess to the property line, and not wanting to go through too much trouble and waste every time, I did look for a different spot to put it back, but the way the property is situated, there isn't really a good spot to put it except in front of the house, because on the left side of the property is a driveway, and the building is in the back, so there's no room in the back. And then on the right side, there's a septic tank and a pit tank, which prevent it from being moved forward. And if I move it to the left to get the 10 feet, it will hit the deck. So there's no good spots anywhere to put it.
I was out
except
there
where
the
it
other
was.
night, there's an existing base that's built for this with
Right.
railroad ties. It's kind of nestled in the corner, and you're surrounded by, I think there was an evergreen to the right side, and you're
Right.
surrounded by fences that are
Fences.
almost as high as the shed anyway.
Yes,
That's a tough piece of
So,
property.
yeah, it's a tough piece of property because you have no back
Tough piece of
rear
property.
yard.
right.
So,
I did discuss with the neighbors, the front and the
How's that
left and the back, and they're all okay with
all right,
it.
no one's got an issue with it. If you had to relocate that base, what kind of cost? It'd be a few $100s to,
Probably high hundreds. I am not very handy.
so
but-
in that case, it would cost more because you'd have to pay someone to do it.
Yes.
Okay. Board members, Silvio,
No questions.
Bill,
No question.
Bill,
No questions, thank you.
Rose, and
No
John.
questions.
Further
All right,
questions?
any input from the public on this application? Look for a motion to close
So
this
moved.
hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am.
Do I sign here?
No. All right, new application number 6, Mount Carmel Baptist Church for variation of section 156-41, seeking permission to install a message board in sign LED. Property is located at 80 Glenada Avenue, Carmel, New York, and it's tax map 44.14-1-35.
Yeah, John, they already got the variance for the area. It was for a lighted sign, but not a LED message board sign like they got at the other church in Carmel there, St. James.
Okay. And you are?
Michael Kitts, it's 30 Maggie Lane, Pauling, New York. I'm the installer.
Okay. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
You've been approved to represent, okay, I see it, yep.
Yep.
All right, so bring us through the situation here.
They want to replace the existing message board sign, which is a individual letter board, with a new LED sign for greater visibility and ease of being able to get their message across.
Okay. We've had a similar situation come through with the church right around the corner years ago, and there were concerns about repetitive messages flashing and almost being like a disruption to drivers, distraction.
Right.
Are they intending on just keeping one message at one time here? or-
It will change. The pastor for the church is actually here. He can tell you a little bit more about
Yeah, 'cause we
the
can-
intention of the signs. But yes, it will be changing.
We conditioned St. James that it was, I don't remember exactly, but I know it was one message a day, and I know it was also turned off after a certain
Yeah,
amount.
after a certain time.
It was never
That's-
turned off, it was turned down.
Turned down.
And they all turn down automatically. Once it gets dark, they don't need to be as bright, so they turn themselves down.
Is that the nature of the
And
composition
the
of
only
this?
thing was no flashing,
No flashing.
no flashing, but they can change.
No, I thought we conditioned St. James to the same message. I thought we did.
No, you can't have a constant flow of different messages.
Right.
But if you want to change your message once a day, we just
Yeah.
can't have, constant changing of
Right.
messages.
So if they wanted to say, fair today at 7, tomorrow and they had to go into more things, you would say no to that? Even though it doesn't flash, it would just be 5 seconds on, 5 seconds,
It's Joel
flip to the
Biden.
next one.
I would think that would be distracting. That could be
He's got that
distracting.
same restriction. Joel does.
That, the
and-
fire
and St.
department does
James
it,
And my
just for the
rec-
record.
Saint-
My
we know
recollection
about
is
the
we
fire
also
department.
had a color restriction, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken, as
We
well.
did.
I don't have the answer to that.
I remember all that because Father Sorge was very mad at me.
Yeah, we
Are
need
you
to
willing to
see
come
what
up
that's-
and answer? So, yeah, feel free, please, come on up.
Can he come up now?
Yeah.
State your name and address for the record.
Andrew Columbia, I live on the premises, 76 Glenida Avenue. I'm the pastor of Mount Carmel Baptist Church.
Of course, but swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Stack of
Thank you.
Bibles.
Well, we do a lot of interaction with the community. We have AA that meets at our building. We have support groups for law enforcement. I'm a former policeman. We also have support groups for addictions. So we do a lot of different things at the church. The purpose for the sign would be that we'd be able to highlight the different opportunities we offer to the community. And we also have mental health who meets at our building and does things. The firehouse has one, St. James has one. I live there, so I see them all the time. The messages do change. Whatever compliance with colors or brightness or that, I don't have an issue with that. We just want to be able to put out all the different things that we do at the church so the community could benefit from it. That's the purpose of it.
Right, and just so you know, the firehouse was a different case and was further up the street, but we did condition St. James to keep a static message, that I remember. So, and if you look, St. James has the sign, but it'll either say Bazaar, and that's it for the day, or it'll say St. James the Apostle, something else. It doesn't continually, constantly change the message. That's
Well,
where-
we'd comply with it, whatever you wanted to do,
Yeah, I
but
don't care about the sign so much, but just.
It's not your intention to have
no,
Like
5
Las
different
Vegas.
messages all day,
No,
just
we're-
blink and
we're-
blink and blink.
Don't want to see like the strip, you
no,
know?
no. It'll just be subtle and just to give people the different things
And you'll
we
be
offer.
using your sign for public safety things, if there's emergency
Absolutely.
situations or things like that, and you'll be
Sure.
putting that out. And you have no problem with having one color, so it's not different colors throughout the day.
Not a problem.
And all that.
Nope.
Okay. John?
Mike said it was, there's a photo eye built into there, Mike?
There's what?
Photo eye built in? So as it gets dark out, it lowers
Yeah.
down in intensity?
Yeah.
That's
they're
part
all
of- that's
intelligent.
part of the
Something that's part of their
device.
application? A photo cell that dims the light upon darkness?
Sir, yes.
Well, it's a manual.
what happens?
I'm not sure the exact sign has that built into it, but it is programmable. I don't know if it's an automated function of the sign.
Okay.
It should have a photo cell in there,
I think they do, like
you know?
they don't want to use any more energy than they have to. So what they do is when it gets dark,
Plus, you don't want to blind the people
he clicks
driving
it down,
either.
correct. You wouldn't want it as bright as you need it during the day
Right.
when the lights are, when the sun's out.
No, it's a big distraction then,
Sure.
at that intensity.
Also, our
It should
sign
be
is set
automatic.
back. It's set back. It's not really
Yeah,
up front. It's kind of set
It's
back.
off the sidewalk.
It's off the
back in
sidewalk,
there,
it's set back, yeah.
There's a turn, yeah. The location's fine.
Okay.
And I'm not adverse
Yeah.
to having more than one message a day, as long as it's not something that's flashing back and
Right.
forth and things like that. You know, if you have
Understood.
a wedding and you want to congratulate the couple, you put that up, and then when they're gone, you want to put, meeting tomorrow night or something, that's fine.
Okay.
But just to go back and forth and, be a little more distracting for drivers and people.
All right, well, I want to read the spec sheet here on the bottom, which concerns me. It says LED capabilities 1 to 2 rows, 5.5 inches to 12.6 inch characters. That's fine. But it says this sign can display video clips, animations, and static images with access to an extensive graphics library. That's something that
That's
we're
moving.
probably
That's
concerned about.
Thank you.
Sure, not a
We don't want
problem.
distraction. We want to just keep
Yep,
verbiage and not anything that's flashing. We want
Understood.
to keep it consistent with what we've approved in the past.
understood.
So,
Not a
Let's
problem.
be sure that, and the record will reflect that.
What were you initially thinking as to how you were going to, what kind of messages you were going to do?
Well, as I shared, we have support groups that meet
Right.
at the church. We have different activities that go on during the week. With the sign we have now, it's manual. You have to take everything off. It's very labor intensive. It's breaking. It's old. This
Right.
way, we can, have the different things that we do on a regular basis.
But were you
portrayed on the
thinking
sign.
like AA meeting Tuesday night, mental health awareness meeting Thursday night, and constantly have it flowing?
Well,
What was your thought?
That would be if it was okay. If not, it's not. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I know there's 2 other signs in the area. I see how St. James uses theirs. I see how the fire department uses theirs. I'll comply with whatever it is. I control it. I'm the one who puts the messages on. I'll have the app, so.
So are
Yeah.
they constantly changing their message throughout the day?
No, St. James does not constantly change their message throughout the day. Fire department does a lot of different messages.
If I remember, the St. James willingly wanted to offer one message a day. I think we made it a condition for that particular application.
Well, let me ask you this. If there's no flashing colors and it's just basically a message, what does it matter what name or letters are on it? If it's the same font, the same size, and it just says support group on Monday nights at 7 PM.
That's fine.
And then it says Tuesday night, we have,
Yeah, if you could fit it all in
I
on
mean,
the sign.
yeah, I mean, that's
could fit it in
basically what
instead of-
we're looking to do.
Yeah, we don't want to flash it.
Right,
We just want it to
understood.
be
Understood.
consistent.
Running, like,
Yeah, like a
like a
loop.
ticker.
I get you. I understand.
Yeah, that's fine if you want to.
Yeah, that would be it.
Lines.
Just a message so people could see what
You're
different
coming up
things we
to
have.
state of the art, that's what you want. You want to be able to
Right.
easily do it from your
Right.
phone, probably, right?
All right?
We'll make those notes, right, when we
Yep.
make the motion.
All right, any more input from the board?
No, just for the record to show, from a conformity standpoint, it's even smaller than what they're allowed to have too, which is good, so.
Yeah.
Just,
That would have been part of the variance.
right, they were granted a 20 square foot, and it looks like it's 18.
All right, any input from the public on this application? I'll look for a motion to close this hearing.
Motion to close.
Do I have a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You don't have to sign that.
You don't have to sign. Well, no, he does, because,
Oh, he does?
he was the one that was supposed to. I do? Yeah.
Yeah, if you're speaking in support or against. All right, number 7, Erstat Biddle Properties, variation of section 156-41, seeking permission to install a new shopping center sign. Properties at 150, 184 Route 52, Carmel, New York. Tax map 44.9-1-9.
Good evening, everyone. Brian Vassar with Archer Signs.
I'm sorry, say again?
Brian Vassar with Archer
Brian.
Signs, representing Erstat Biddle.
And your address? Give your
My
business.
address is 18 Balsam Circle, Shelton, Connecticut.
Okay. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. All right, bring us through it.
Sure. Start here. So in this location, on this side of the property, Carmel Plaza, where ShopRite just did some significant upgrades to their property there, they have a small sign that's just servicing ShopRite at the moment. There's a larger sign for the movie theater down the way that was approved by variance some time ago, which is contingent on the movie theater being there.
All right, just speak into the mic, please.
Sure. Yeah, I'm kind of traveling here. I
You can
apologize.
take it off the pedestal.
And could we have quiet out there, please? Please,
Excuse me, sir, in the back?
everyone, we're trying to hear.
Thank you.
Out or in?
Sergeant at Arms.
I was trying to be polite.
Okay, so anyway, so the movie theater sign is contingent on the movie theater being there. So if that leaves, then that goes. So it's not like the sign that they have could ever be utilized for any other purpose. So this sign, the sole purpose of this sign, is really to service the tenants that are further down, approximately about 300 feet away from the street, blocked by a lot of foliage, a lot of trees. And I took a ride around Carmel, and I took some photographs, and I have some smaller versions of this as well. And it seemed to me that most tenants, single tenants, even a lot closer to the road than these folks that are pushed back from the road, have significant signage. I mean, you're talking about, well, the awnings and everything else here, it's, a lot of square feet, probably with signage, probably 60, 70 square feet. Here you've got, probably 25, and then also a sign on the building. They vary anywhere from 20, 30, 40 square feet. When you have a multi-tenant sign, it seemed like they were about 5 square feet or so apiece, and then they had a header up top. There was a multi-tenant sign here, header on the top there, another one that was a single tenant. So just trying to give you an idea around town that, this plaza is large. So, and they have a lot of tenants. So what they're asking for really seems like a lot, but when you add it all up, each tenant is not asking for any more than about 5 square feet apiece of exposure on the roadway. So unfortunately, that requires a large sign because there's so many of them. Right? I took the liberty of taking some pictures of the existing property. That's the existing sign that only services one tenant. And you can see from here, you can't even see these guys down there. I mean, it's quite a ways away from the street. And the sign, even though on paper, when you look at the dimensions, it seems rather large. And, even in the shop when it's being built, it seems large. When you put it out in the world, it really isn't. So I dropped it in here. This is an 8-foot ladder, and this is 8 foot to the bottom of the sign. So this is in proportion to the property, okay? It's probably not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. And you can see on the approach, and even as you get close, it really isn't that large of a sign, even though the dimensions might suggest that. And this is a close-up version of the sign. Brick bases to emulate the building. Large ShopRite because they're the anchor tenant, name of the plaza, representing Carmel. And some anchor, larger tenants, and then the little guys down here that want about 5 square feet apiece. So, you need the height because the roadway is a bit taller, a bit higher in this area. So as you travel down, you really have to have that height to the bottom tenant in order to really see the guy on the bottom here. So, any questions?
You didn't want to move the guy on the bottom over to the right, did you? You have some space there?
Yeah.
There's 2 Mexican restaurants, apparently.
Yeah, well, I just did that as a placeholder.
There's the sign that used to be, now I guess the bank is that bank even still there anymore? No, right?
It's back there.
It's not there
Are
anymore.
they going to be
Oh, no.
part of this sign, or are they coming off? The one that's in front, I forgot. That's right, it's still there.
As far as I know, the bank is not going to be part of the sign. They have a small sign in front of their parcel. I'm not sure if it's an out parcel or part of the property or not.
Yes, sir.
If you can speak, I got to swear you in.
Yeah.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Greg Bedell, 45 Country Ridge, Rybrook, New York.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
The M&T Bank
Speak
is,
to the microphone, please.
the M&T Bank is currently vacant. It's for lease, and it's a separate tax parcel. That's why they have their own pylon
Now
sign.
you answered my question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So what square footage is the current sign?
The current sign is, so I don't have the exact specs, but looking at it, it's about 40 square feet, maybe 50 in that neck of the woods.
So which currently conforms to our code?
32 is what's allowed. Freestanding, you're talking about?
Yeah, the freestanding sign in front of
Freestanding,
ShopRite.
32.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Well,
whoa.
it says 75 square feet freestanding sign
Right, but
is
you're
allowed.
saying 2 different things. You're talking about the tax parcel, the separate bank, or you're talking
No,
about?
no, the ShopRite sign where this
75
proposed
sign.
sign.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the bank stuff.
And then a 20-foot tall sign is allowed per code. You're requesting a 27-foot.
That's to get the bottom up because of the elevated grade of the street.
Which makes sense for vision and for, right? where cars are
Correct,
pulling out.
right. The road's higher in that area, right.
It's not any different than what we see right here in downtown Mahopac with the now Stop and Shop pillar that's almost the same size as, graphically, as what you're representing here.
Right.
And we understand there's more anchor stores coming, and we get the need for it. We like to be careful of how large we get. And we don't want to be too overbearing, but we also want to help, the businesses so they can be identified and.
Sure.
So, this is a pretty extreme variance. Is there any considerations to bring this down? How can we work with you to bring it down a little bit from what you're asking for? And still help you achieve what you're looking to achieve?
Well,
Could you shrink the
It's-
shop rate? a
I
little
think
bit?
that the whole thing could shrink in proportion, I suppose. We'd want to maintain some good height from the ground because of the elevated street. Looking at the sign, the smaller tenants really don't have a lot of space, even though it's so big. So it's tough.
How
you know.
big is that area, like where it says pizza restaurant? Like, how high and long?
This
is
one
that?
panel here?
Yes.
That is,
Well, the individual ones, for like, just for pizza restaurant.
Figure it out, it's about 6 feet wide.
no, it's about 5 square feet.
So it's a foot by 5, you think?
Yeah, it's about that.
Okay.
Are there 17 stores there? Is that the way I read it?
There's divisible space that could equal that. Right now, there are not, but they're breaking things apart to bring in tenants to allow for that amount of space. So that's why some of them are blank. They'll be filled.
They will be filled.
Mike, is the actual structure of the pillar, is that considered part of the sign?
It's the
as well?
smallest rectangle to encompass the entire sign. So you go width and height, and that's it. You don't take out the circles, you don't do pi r square, pi d, whatever.
Why is Rite Aid and Gold's bigger than the other signs?
Bigger space.
Bigger space?
Yeah, it's just to give them space that's in recognition of their square footage that they lease.
So their square footage is larger,
Yeah.
that's why your
Is that right?
signage is larger?
Golds and Rite Aid have a larger space than the smaller, yeah,
That makes sense.
which is typical of that.
Yeah, Mike, if you can speak.
If I could mention, the reason, there are 18 spaces currently, and we join or separate them as required by the tenant. We should have brought some tenants because they would cry significant hardship, saying they've never been represented on the street, things like that. So the idea of the size of the sign is just a basis of so they can be seen from the street. There's a pool sign right across the street next to the cemetery that is one business, and maybe they're going to rent it out, but it's significantly of a significant size, and this is actually much smaller based on the tenants.
Why are there two Mexican restaurant signs there?
It's my fault. It's just a placeholder to show that there are more tenants going to be added. There's not going to be 2 actual Mexican restaurants on there.
Well, we need to.
Fast food chains?
So the end of the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, I mean, we've dealt with sign issues before with this board. This is a different kind of setup where where the actual stores are set up. I think the sign is actually well done. I don't think it's overbearing. I
Well,
really
thank
don't
you.
I really don't have an issue with it. I don't know what everybody else feels, but that's my take.
The only other comment I just want to agree is, the original sign is probably 30, 40 years old, back when they did it. ShopRite just made a significant investment. They just had their grand reopening. So that's what we're trying to liven up the place. We're trying to we have vacancies, unfortunately, because the first thing they say is, how's anybody going to know I'm here? Or put us next to ShopRite so that they can see us. So we're responding to our tenants.
The existing sign was sort of on the exit going out on the right-hand side from the lot. Is this going on the island in between, the inbound and out?
Same spot it's proposed to go in the same spot as the existing sign.
The same exact spot.
Correct.
As that sign.
That's right.
Did you look at other locations for that?